Fitchburg Public Safety and Human Services Committee for meeting for December 14th, 2021. Attending tonight, myself, Dave Herbst, in council chambers with Jay Allen. Shannon is Zoom. Tracy is in her office, and we have Scott next to us here. First, public appearances for non-agenda items. I do not believe we have any. No, sir. Okay. Then we're on to number 3, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Jay. So we have 2 items in there. Approval of the minutes from November 23rd and approval of routine licenses, of which there's one new operator's license for Anna Lee at Barriques. Does anyone want to break out either of those from the consent agenda? Seeing no one, then we'll call the vote. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item, 4 Alpha, Resolution R-23621, accepting a donation for the purchase of a drone. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Allen. Discussion. I'll open this up to the board first.
Well, why don't we hear from
Okay,
fire
Chief.
department first?
All right, Chief, why don't you talk? If you want.
All right, well, thank you very much. This is a project that's been in the works for a couple of years. The past couple of budget cycles, we were unable to fund this through the municipal budget. And through council direction, we were encouraged to find alternative methods of funding. We do have a donor for some drone equipment that would allow us to move this project forward. The exciting part about this project is the fact that it's not just public safety, although it does have some value to police and fire. It's also going to be used by city engineering, Department of Public Works, economic development, Fact TV. All of those departments will contribute to the overall operating expense, which makes this program more sustainable, gives us more pilots to use, and gives us the ability to see this actually through fruition for the long term. So it's something that we're excited to get going because it will serve the city at multiple levels.
All right, now I'll open up to questions from the board. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, how large is this drone?
So this actually has a payload capacity a little bit larger than your recreational drones because of the fact that it has additional camera equipment to be able to be used for GIS mapping, those types of things. So, for example, Dakota Dorn from City Engineering, he works a lot with our GIS right now. And there's certain platforms that we have been able to add to this drone that will allow him to use it for mapping, topography, water flow, those types of things. And then because of the fact that we have that data, in the event that we need it for an emergency purpose like emergency management, if we do have flash flooding, those types of things, we already have that data collected and available for our use. So it's a little bit heavier drone. And the other thing that we did is this is an American-made drone because of the fact that we were concerned about data security, data mining, and some of the other drones have parts that come from China that aren't necessarily regulated as well.
So would you envision being able to use it in fighting a fire, or is it something that just helps you with observation?
Well, both. It could help us in victim search and rescue in large area searches. It can help us when we're trying to determine heat signatures. It does have a thermal imaging capacity. It gives us an aerial overview so that we know what's going on the other side of the building, especially when access might be compromised. So there is some immediate value. I will say this, the policy and procedure that we have already identified as needing to be implemented will allow us to roll this project out over the course of time. We will not be able to use it to its capacity immediately, but there are certain things that we will be able to use it for right away. And then as we receive more training and flight time, then we will be able to use it more along the lines of what it's designed for.
Shannon, question for the chief at all?
Nope, I have none. I'm good.
Okay, I have one. So we found a donor, but it's still gonna cost me $11,000 as a taxpayer. Where's the savings? I'm told all these wonderful things. Is it gonna save some money? You were directed to go back, and it looks like you're coming back asking for more money. I realize we're very thankful, very grateful for the donation of the drone, but still, we're gonna spend, where's the value we're getting out of it, Chief? What's the 11,000? I'll let you explain, okay?
Sure, absolutely. I believe you're looking at old figures. The PowerPoint that we provided in the document gives you an idea of what that was going to cost when we first brought this to the table. The equipment that we are looking at purchasing today is $16,675, and that's all going to be funded. Nothing's coming out of the municipal budget. So the PowerPoint that you have in front of you was the PowerPoint that was presented early when we initially wanted to move this forward as a government or a municipally funded device. And now we've found the donor, and we were able to find technology that was more cost effective. So over the course of 2 years, we were not only were able to find a better piece of equipment, one that was more cost effective, but we found a donor too.
So back to it, what's the cost outside, for the training, the operators training and things, what's that cost? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what we anticipate is it would be a shared expense between the departments. Typically, we're looking at about, and I'd have to look at the figures, it's less than $5,000 for all departments to get that initial training. And then what we would do in order to make this sustainable is each department would contribute to the operation budget for eventual replacement and maintenance. So yes, this is an ongoing expense, but one that we were looking at funding in the long term anyway as a replacement fund item.
Okay. So maybe Tracy, you might need to jump in. This is one where we're going to need 2/3 council vote because we're increasing spending. Am I correct, this amendment? Or am I reading this wrong?
Not for public safety, and I
Okay.
don't believe that you're gonna need to at council. I think this is just a resolution to approve the donation, accepting the donation.
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
Is that correct, Joe?
Yes, it's just the donation, receiving the
Just
donation.
accepting the donation at this point.
I'm foolish, but I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, Chief. So, all right. I don't have any more. Oh, I guess one more question. What's the expected lifetime on this? And if it is, say it's 5 years or 6 years, then I think the departments need to think about that, or I'm sure you're not going to get another donation in 5 years, if it's worn out.
No, that's where the operations and it's sort of like a fleet management program where all departments that contribute to the overall operation of this drone contribute to that maintenance and replacement fund. Okay. So it should allow us to fund that evenly over the course of the operational period. And it would be an operational, it's obviously capital, but it gives us a better idea of how we can save for that and fund it and do it gradually versus all at once.
All right, any other questions?
How much does one of these cost today?
So we have 2 drones on there, one of which is the actual response drone, which is $12,000. And then because of the fact that we're conscientious of wear and tear and initial training, we want to do with something that doesn't cost as much. The training drone is the $3,750 drone. And both can be used in emergency purposes. It's just the heavier drone is the one that's able to carry the tools that are best used for GIS and mapping.
Chief, do you buy any insurance or warranty with this? Just my experience with children and remote control things, that they end up flying into the power line or,
Yep.
for damage. Is there any provision or insurance or anything like that.
Yep, that's going to be worked through City and Villages Mutual Insurance. That's our municipal insurance provider. And we will be covered for that, for loss and liability.
Okay. We would be subject to the deductible, but, all right, sounds good. Any other questions for Chief Pulvermacher? Okay. Then we'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R-236-21, accepting a donation for the purchase of a drone, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next, 5 Alpha, operator license needing special attention. Applicant must be present. This was postponed from the November 23rd meeting. And Xavier Bowie, did I pronounce your name right, Xavier? Are you there? Hello, Xavier, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm present. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? I'm sorry if I'm not. Is it Xavier?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Xavier, I think you're aware, based on the letters you received, that your application was turned down for, falsification and was resubmitted. So that's why we're having this hearing, to give you opportunity to address that. We understand, or as I read through you're working at not CertCo, but Playcon. Is that correct, Xavier?
Yes, currently.
Okay, all right. I guess this is your forum here to, I guess, anything you'd want to say, maybe it was a misunderstanding on the form, I'm here to listen. The police department, denied the request initially here, so I'm here to listen to anything you have to say.
Sure. Well, to my understanding, I received a letter for this meeting because of some falsified information or some information that was left out. So I'm just here to clear it up. Overall, I'm not sure what I had excluded or what I'm leaving out or what may have been wrong. I had spoke to Tracy one time, and I came down to the city, and I had corrected it to my understanding. So, and then I received a letter saying that that this meeting had to be done. So I'm just here to see what I can do to correct my application so I don't lose my license.
Yeah. Well, right now, yeah, you don't have a license right now. Am I correct, Tracy? You're requesting an operator's license. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Tracy?
Yes, that's correct. So he would have been going through the renewal process, but his previous license expired July 31st.
Oh, he was previously licensed.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, June 30th is
Okay.
when it expired. So I can provide a little background if this helps. He had come in and applied, and his first application was denied by the police department based on missing information guideline 6 for falsification. He was then notified and given an opportunity to come in and amend his application to correct what was left off. That was again run through another background check, and it was found out that there was additional information that was still not listed. So the police department did deny it again under guideline 6 for falsification. So we usually try to give the applicant, at least an opportunity to come in and amend their application prior to putting them on an agenda here as denial and by the police department and coming for the board before the board.
So has his application been amended? I guess it was, and then it was still rejected. Okay.
There was still missing information that apparently it's all available on CCAP. So you would have been able to look it up on CCAP.
Jay, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a couple. So when, so Tracy, when he came in the first time to correct his application, obviously not all of the information that the police department was looking for was provided to him. Is that correct?
We don't provide the information that's missing.
So what do we
Is
tell an
in-
applicant when they come in?
That there are charges on there and there are occurrences on there that have been left out that he needs to add based on the application itself. And if he's not sure what they are, he can check CCAP on that.
Okay, so we don't tell them what's missing, we just tell them there's stuff missing.
Correct. The police department just notifies us that there is information that's missing that should be listed on the application. And part of the application process is, the applicant should be able to fill out the form properly.
Shannon, you have any comments?
No, I don't have any comments, thanks.
All right.
And Tracy answered a lot of my questions, thanks.
Okay. Xavier, I'm inclined to decline right now, and it would be 6 months until he could apply again. Is that correct, Tracy? That would be the interval?
That's correct. There's a couple of pending charges that are not listed.
Okay.
So if he does reapply in 6 months, we can give him access to this application, and he would just need to make sure that those additional charges are listed.
Yeah, Xavier, I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. You're one of the, like I was discussing before, you're one of the 60% of the people in the country that's working, and I appreciate and respect that. But as chairman here, I take the lead from the police department, and so what I would suggest is I'm going to vote to deny, but I'd like you to put the date down 6 months from now to get the form correct and apply again, and we will, at that point, I would anticipate approval at that point. In the interim, I believe you can continue to work, but you would have to be under the, supervision. There would have to be a licensed operator, there with you while you're working. Is that correct, Tracy?
That's correct.
Okay. Jay?
I struggle with this, and I guess the question that I have is, do we know, Tracy, if all the information had been listed on the application, would the police department have approved it?
That's a great question. I would believe so, because right now the denial is based on falsification, and now it's coming before you, the board. You do have, an opportunity or an option to approve it based on him, coming in and completing the application properly, or deny and have him reapply in 6 months. So you have a couple options, whatever the board decides to do.
Well, do we have an option to postpone this until January and give him another shot at filling it out correctly? Because if he would have been approved if all the information had been written on the form, and I understand the point there, but CCAP is not always the most intuitive tool to use, and if you're just not familiar with how to find information there, it may have been a challenge. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances are for that, but I know that we have time frames that we have to work within. Do we have the option of bringing this back in a month?
absolutely, you as the board can, decide on if that's the route you want to go and give him an opportunity to come in and amend his application and do another background check. If he's not sure, what it is that's missing, he can certainly work with our police department to find out.
Well, I guess what I would like to do, Dave, is move to table this until our first meeting in January. Xavier, are you still on there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm Jay Allen. My phone number is on the city's website. I'm the easiest person in Fitchburg to find. So if you are having trouble with this, give me a call and I will help walk you through the process to get this done. Because I'd hate to see you have your employment in peril because of a paperwork issue. So I hope that we can table this and come back in January and get it resolved.
I'm in agreement with you, Jay. Xavier,
I agree
it needs
too.
to be done, though, it needs to be done. If we come back in January and it's still not, I'm gonna ask you, you're gonna be 6 months out, so, does that seem fair?
That's fine with me.
Okay. Xavier, seem fair to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right, so I would entertain a motion to postpone this to the January, what would our January meeting be?
Sometime in January.
Postpone until the next public safety
11th.
meeting in January.
I already made the motion to
Okay.
postpone.
All right, then I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it is postponed. Again, the ball is in your court, Xavier. Please get the form filled out accurately, and we'll take this up in January. Thank you for your time, sir.
And please call me if you need
Okay, I'll
some
do
help.
that.
on
Yeah,
this.
yes, please take Alder Allen up on that. All right,
Okay.
just make a note here if I have. And our next meeting, there it was right there, it was January 11th is our next meeting for announcements. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Allen. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.